Microphone, so slide a little bit more to your left. Right there, there you go.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so sorry we're late today. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all of our listeners. We are experiencing technical difficulties, so we're not able to go FB Live today. So I apologize for that. As soon as we can get that working. I know we should have a sound effect that says, "Oh." Right?
I'm sorry.
But this is Time for a Change with Sherry
and McKeon.
And we come to you on the first and second Monday of every month, bringing you those hard conversations to have, unhealthy relationships, life after domestic violence, and just dealing with some of the impacts from generational setbacks.
Absolutely.
We have those honest conversations. And today we have just a little bit setback, but we're going to talk about in the news anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, because I really think we need to talk about what, and I'm pretty sure everybody saw the video.
Absolutely. I mean, girl, when I seen it, I almost fell out the chair. I mean, I'm an advocate, but I wanted to bust him in the head to the white meat when I seen him abusing that
Do we have
girl
a
like
clip
that.
for that?
We do. Can we definitely show that clip before we get into this message?
No.
I don't have no idea what y'all talking about.
I sent it to your messenger.
Okay.
Oh, for real? Awesome. So let me work on that. Y'all keep going.
Okay. Well, anyway, it was a guy. He was in Richmond, and his girlfriend, she was pregnant, and she also had some type of leg injury, and they were in like a food mart or something like that. And I don't know what had happened, but something had got him very angry. And in the clip, it showed him. He just went in and started punishing her. I mean, punching her in her face. Next thing you know, she was down on the floor. All you seen was his arm kept going up in the air, kept going down. Next thing you know, you seen that he was using his feet. He was stomping her. And come to find out, she was 3 months pregnant with his child. And so the owner of the store, he came from behind the cabinet, and he was trying to get the gentleman off of her and everything, which he did proceed to get him off of her and made him leave the store. But it was interesting because as the video was playing, it was a news commentator telling us what had actually happened. After that, the police did arrest him, and he was sentenced to 8 years in jail. But we do know those stories that go along with victims, is that when she showed up in court, she actually showed up in his defense. And she was a witness and told the judge, that she really wasn't hurt that bad, and, and trying to explain to the judge that it was her fault. And, a lot of people were saying, that's why they don't get involved when they see a lot of domestic violence situations in public, is because the victim is going to go back to the abuser. But it's more than that. It's so psychological when you deal with a victim. Everybody thinks that she just wants to be abused. Right. But it's a lot that goes along with that.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you said something about it. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm 3 months pregnant. You know what I mean? I may not even be financially able to do any of this on my own. Of course, he's probably done this in the past.
Absolutely.
So I'm totally dependent on this man right now. And for you to take this away from me, what will I do? How will I function? And I think that's where we try to bring light to some of these situations and let these women know that you don't have to put up with this.
Right.
Like, it is possible for you to make it out here. And that's why I applaud all our grassroots organizations. We just need to get the word out there that we're here.
Absolutely. And the community needs to be educated on it, because, the worst thing that we can do is re-victimize the victim. A lot of times women stay in those situations is because of financial abuse. A lot of people think it's just physical, but it's financial too. When you don't have any money, nowhere to go, nothing to do, all you can think about is where you and your child is going to lay your head. And sometimes staying under your abuser's roof looks better than sleeping in a car.
It does.
Sleeping under a bridge. Going to a domestic violence shelter where you may be victimized again.
Especially for those women who put on that facade every day.
Absolutely.
That nothing is wrong.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It would be devastating and hard for me to say, I'm sleeping in my car right now. So that's definitely something we need to think about. But as a community as a whole, like you said, when we see something, we need to say something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Simple as that. You need to say something.
Yes.
And I applaud the owner, was it the worker?
He was an owner or a clerk. They really didn't say what his title was.
For coming out there and trying to do something, because there's no telling where he could have gone with his rage.
Absolutely.
I still haven't brought myself to watch it.
I know it was. Oh my goodness, it was horrific, and we're definitely going to let our guests today view it as soon as we can bring it up. But that's out in the news piece for right now.
That's out in the news segment.
But we have an awesome show today, and we have a dynamic couple in the studio today. The title of our show today is Life After Abuse, Marriage Works. And we're going to just start that healing process. A lot of people think that just because they've been in an abusive relationship, they have written off love. But we're here to let them know. But we're here to let them know that there is life after abuse, and that you can fall in love again. And, it's a beautiful thing. So we want to definitely get into that today. So, Roland, are we going to show the clip right now, or we're going to go ahead and introduce our guests and get the conversation started?
Introduce your guest, please.
Okay.
So we have with us Tony and Roz Manley. No, I didn't read that.
Okay. So we definitely have Roz and Manley in the studio today. Roz is the CEO of Daughters with a Purpose mentoring program. She runs several businesses of her own. She is a member of Zonta in Charles County, and she serves on the board for the Jude House and her HOA. Roz strives to make a difference in every life she comes in contact with. She is a devoted wife, mother of 4 beautiful children. Welcome to the studio, Roz.
Hello, thank you
Welcome,
very much.
Roz.
Thank you. Hello.
And we have her husband, Tony Manley. He's her husband and father of 4. Has worked as a federal contract protective security officer in D.C. since 2005. That's devoted. That's yeah. You know, nowadays you can't find that. You know what I mean? People do a lot of
I
job
be out of there
hopping.
2
You
years. I give them 2 years. All right, see you.
He spent the majority of his childhood in Capitol Heights, out in the Heights, until he relocated to Charles County in 1999, where he graduated from McDonough. McDonough High School in 2001. Okay, so thank you for coming out, Roz and Tony. We thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Welcome.
Such a beautiful couple, and we definitely want to talk about, because this topic can be a downer, right? And it can be heavy on hearts. We definitely want to hear all that you do and all that you what has gotten you to where you are now, but we definitely want to highlight the positive, and that is the marriage and everything in the positive that's in that. Okay? So Roz, just introduce yourself quickly and tell us what got you to where you are now.
So a lot of prayer, faith, and tears definitely have gotten me to where I am now. As you know, I am a victim of domestic violence, so which started at an early age for me when I was a teenager. Days since November the 26th. We have
Oh,
been
wow.
together every
She knows
day
the
since.
date.
Yes, November the 26th. He proposed May the 13th. We got married October the 8th. Not even
Wait
a
a
year.
minute, in the year?
In the
Yeah.
year.
Wow.
Not
Oh.
even a year. Not
Wow.
even a full year.
Wow.
When God
That's
is in
awesome.
it, He's
Yeah,
in
yes,
it.
that's
in it.
awesome.
So let
in
me
it.
ask you this, Ross, because you know sometimes with domestic violence victims and the things that we go through with being abused by a man, and we put so many guards up, and you know we write men
Yes.
off because we don't want to be hurt anymore. When you met Tony, how were you able to proceed with that relationship without all that old baggage coming up?
So in the beginning, I did not tell him in the beginning because I was just like, oh, you know, I was so guarded, like you said. And then we became close. Like I said, we was together every day. And then a conversation had to be had because although we both were telling each other we didn't want to be in a relationship, you know, Tony had his own, you know, issues in his past relationship. Not so much of him being abused physically, but verbally and things. So we both were broken, you know. So finally, we just had to have that conversation. And I never got all the way into it about who I was because I was still trying to figure who I was out, you know. And I would, like I said, in less than a year, we moved really quickly. But honestly, the conversation that we really had it was the day I met you, McYoung, when we did our documentary. That's when I finally came out about a lot of stuff, and we had a conversation.
Wow. Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
so we're gonna take that. On that note, we're gonna go to a break, and when we come back, I definitely want to pick up with Tony, and I do have a
Yes.
question for you.
Uh-oh.
So we'll go to break, and we'll be, 3 minutes?
We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Time for a Change with Sherry and McYon. We are so excited to be here today. We have a fabulous couple in the studio, Roz and Tony Manley. So we're just going to recap of who they are, and then we're going to play this video that we have for everyone to watch. So Rosalind, she is the CEO of Daughters with a Purpose Mentoring Program. She runs several businesses of her own. She's also a member of the Zontas in Charles County, and she serves on the board of the Jude House and her HOA. Roz strives to make a difference in every life she comes in contact with. She is a devoted wife and mother of 4 beautiful children.
And her husband, Tony Manley, is employed with the Federal Protection Security Agency in Washington, D.C., I assume, since 2005. He grew up in Capitol Heights, but in 1999 relocated to Charles County, where he graduated from McDonough High School in 2001. He's also the CEO of Man to Man, so we'll definitely hear a little bit more about Man to Man after we hear a little bit from Roz. But as we said in the previous message, are we watching the clip now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the clip's ready to go whenever you're ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
So can we go ahead and play the clip? Because we definitely want to talk about this.
Woody and his girlfriend Shatori Irving having a bit of a discussion at the counter as Shatori begins to walk towards the door on her crutch with a broken ankle. This happens. Jamar shoving her, cold cocking her. He's not done. He hits her over and over again, kicks her repeatedly. Did I mention she's 3 months pregnant with his child? As she's on the ground, he kicks her repeatedly, punches her some more, about 4 times, maybe more, hard to tell. That clerk really can't seem to get him off his girlfriend, but eventually gets him shooed out the door. Looks like he's going in for another round, but no, finally decides to leave. After that, he was charged with aggravated malicious wounding, and he went to trial. And as you can imagine, one of the jurors gasped while watching the video. Another one had to look away. One juror even cried. I mean, look at this attack. She's 3 months pregnant with a broken ankle. He was found guilty. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison. But it was the victim, that woman, who turned up as his only witness, the defense's only witness, that had the jaw-dropping moment in court. Donald Caldwell is Roanoke Commonwealth's attorney, and he joins me from Roanoke, Virginia. Mr. Caldwell, thanks so much. She testified that she didn't have any permanent injuries, even though there was a multi-inch gash in her forehead that required stitches. She refused to acknowledge that was her in the video. She even refused to acknowledge the pictures of her post-op, swollen and bruised and bloody. Why on earth did she back this man?
Well, actually, if I had a good explanation for that, I think that the prosecutors around the nation would be on to something. In one of your earlier segments, one of the individuals who was speaking voiced the frustration that prosecutors across the country have, where you have people who are victimized as this woman was, and yet their loyalty to the abuser supersedes their own interest. I have no good explanation for that, but it's something that prosecutors across the country deal with every day.
The surveillance video shows Jamar Woody and his girlfriend Shatori Irving having a bit of a discussion at the counter as Shatori begins to walk towards the door on her crutch with a broken ankle. This happens. Jamar shoving her, cold cocking her. He's not done. He hits her over and over again, kicks her repeatedly. Did I mention she's 3 months pregnant with his child?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, that means literally, that's all you can really say is wow. And it's amazing the loyalty that, you know, that she so-called had. How you could have loyalty after that, I don't know, but I'd be curious. I just want to talk to her.
Yeah. I mean,
just want to talk to her.
In all fairness, I remember, you know, that was me.
Yep.
You know, at one point in my life, I was that girl. I used to get beat up in front of people at the store, at pool parties, I mean, anywhere. And for me, my state of mind at that time was that, okay, this is normal. We're going through this right now, but it's going to be all right because I know he's going to apologize and he's going to buy me gifts and it's going to be okay because everybody else doing it.
Yep.
I'm not by myself. You know, everybody else is happening to everybody else. I'm thinking that this is a part of the relationship.
And I was told that at a young age, you know. I was told that this has been happening to women since the beginning of time, and you keep your family together. We have to break that. You know, I was told that when I finally did say something, you know. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, this is what love is.
Yes.
And this is what I thought.